All right. Hello, everybody. So, welcome to another episode of Toridey. So, today we're doing things a little bit differently. So, instead of Sako or Toridey himself doing the interviews, I'm currently going to be interviewing him. So, how are you? How are you doing?
Doing good, and you?
I'm doing well. How has the whole COVID pandemic been treating you?
Difficult, but I think I look at it. I focus on the lessons, and I think I like the experience.
What do you like about the experience?
Um, COVID came and it painted a new picture, new lessons, and I think these new lessons are taking me to a better place. So
That's great. So I know you're, like I said during the beginning, like you're usually the ones doing the interview.
mhm.
So how does it feel sitting on that seat? How does it feel being interviewed?
Strange. I actually don't like cameras.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For someone who takes a lot of pictures, does interviews, I'll be surprised that you don't like
Yeah,
cameras.
I didn't have I needed somebody to do that, and I can't really afford um, to pay.
Hmm.
So I had no choice but to just try.
I mean, you've been doing an amazing job as someone who doesn't like cameras and who doesn't like being, taking pictures and all that stuff. And you're been doing a great job, like just stepping out of your comfort zone. So kudos to you. So I think what everyone would like to know, at least what I would like to know, is who is Sako?
Nasako, by the way, the name is Nasako,
Oh, sorry,
not Sako.
rephrase myself.
Oh,
Who is Nasako?
simple, friendly, humble, Cameroonian, from Southwest region. Um, used to be a soccer guy.
Mm.
Uh, now I live in Arlington, USA. I work. Yeah, I like to just say I'm a simple, humble, friendly person.
No, who are you at the core? Like, if someone was to meet you somewhere and say, "Tell me who you are," like, what are you gonna say? I'm a simple, humble person.
Simple, humble person that was born in Cameroon, and that's it for me. If you have specific questions, then I can give you answers.
Okay, all right. We're gonna dive a little bit then into the more specific questions. So, you mentioned that you lived in Cameroon and now you live here.
hmm
So how has maybe growing up in Cameroon in that society, like how has that influenced or shaped who you are today? Or maybe just your
No,
background in
yeah.
general.
Generally, I grew up in Kumba, and I wasn't from the wealthy family. Struggled a lot. We were average though, yeah. But at one point in time, things got really bad, and I learned to struggle. I learned to think out of the box. And then, so moving to the United States, where you have opportunities and all that, I think where I'm coming from was kind of like uh, built a very very good foundation for me to exploit the opportunities out here.
Okay, that's great. So, I mean, it seems like you're doing pretty well for yourself. Like coming from Cameroon, like it's usually hard. Like the culture shock, like everything, just moving to a new country. I can relate to that experience as well. And it seems like you've evolved to be like this whole brand, Toridey. So what is Toridey and what is the inspiration behind it?
So I'll talk about the inspiration first. Back home, I used to be a soccer player, and I think among my friends, I know very well I was not the best, but I had the chance to play to at least a bigger level or a better level than most of them. So one day I sat in my room and I was like, okay, I know very well I was not as good as this person, right? So what was the thing about me that made me stand out? What was the thing about me that made me do better than them? And I realized the information I had, most of them never had the information. So the flow of information in our community is lacking. I was fortunate to have good information and on time. So that put me ahead of most of them. So that was how I decided, you know what, if you need to help the generation behind you, you need to create a platform where people can get information from. I know we have CRTV, we have other major outlets, but then I don't feel like they're doing the work to help people who are down there. So I felt like I needed to do something, and that was how I came up with Toridey.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit. I like what you said about like really making sure that people have access to like timely information,
Yeah.
right? Like, was there any specific type of information that you were focusing on at that time, or was it just like?
So generally, when I was thinking about doing something, right? The problem was about soccer, how I can get information from most of these guys, younger guys who are playing soccer, know what they're supposed to do. Because if I had the information that most of my friends who were in Yaoundé had when I was really young, I would have done better than I did.
So what type of information is it? Like, oh, there's gonna be a new tournament, or you
Okay,
need to
yeah,
up your
like
skills?
tournaments, and I did not even know when I started playing soccer. I was just playing for fun. I did not even know you can play soccer and it can be a career that can actually uplift you and your family and maybe a whole city. So I feel like if we had good media platforms that were educative, I might have watched a video that would kind of like guide me. Hey, this thing that you're doing, don't just do it for pleasure. You can do it for a career. You understand? And then one other thing that happened to me when I started playing was I dropped out of school. Because I was like, okay, everybody around me was saying, hey, it's not possible to play soccer and go to school and all the stuff. And that's misinformation, right? But growing up, I realized, hey, it was very, very possible. Because you play soccer 2 hours every day. What are you doing with the rest of the 22 hours or let's say 8 hours? So it was very, very possible for me to focus just on school and soccer. So for me, it was about, okay, what can I actually do to help the generation behind me? And that was how I was like, you know what, I need to create my own media platform where people can come. And then with time, I was like, you know what, it's not just about soccer. It's about people who are doing businesses, small businesses. They don't have way to advertise their businesses.
Right.
Do you understand? It's about businesses. It's about people who are doing great things. I need to put you out there. I need to put this other person out there so people can follow you and learn from your experience. They don't need to they don't need to do these mistakes, like do this or that mistake and then learn from their mistakes. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're exposing people to
Yeah.
like different things that are out there,
Yeah.
not just the status quo, but hey, you can do this because this person is
Doing it.
You know, right. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole here a little bit. You said you dropped out of school to play soccer, and your Cameroonian parents let you drop out of school to play soccer.
Okay. Now, if they don't even have money to pay your fees, they don't have any choice. They'll encourage you to play soccer,
Oh wow, okay.
making it look like, yeah, that's a good part. But then they're just hiding behind the fact that they don't have the money to send you to school.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting because that's so interesting to bring up because there's a lot of kids who are like underprivileged who couldn't afford the soccer and go to school at the same time, and it didn't even occur to me because I was never, in that situation again. So again, me checking my privilege and my bubble here to say, hey, just because your life was like that doesn't mean that that's the way it is for everyone else. So thank you for calling that out and for sharing. So what are like some of the challenges? I can imagine back home, like everything, again, is really difficult. Like what were some of the challenges of you to like find this information and then make sure that it reaches the right people at the right time?
Resources. So most people got to know Toridey when I moved to the United States. But whatever I'm doing with Toridey right now, I started all this back home in Cameroon. Back then, I used to meet people, talk to them, record the interview, and I'll go on Facebook and actually type everything out.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if I should say a burden, but for me, it was something I really wanted to do, put out useful information that can help someone. I like the goal was not to reach 20,000 people, 10 million people. No, my goal was to reach one person at a time. One person at a time that can just read whatever I put out there and get inspired and do something better with their life. So I think the challenge was resources. So when I moved to the United States, the one thing that came to my mind was, okay, God know what you're trying to do. That is why He brought you here, so you can get the resources to do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge.
So when you say resources, is it like financial,
Financial,
equipment,
financial equipment.
or so just like everything?
Yeah, the baseline is financial. Because if I have money, I can pay people who can help me do some of the job. If I have money, I can buy equipment. Back, like I said, in Cameroon, I didn't have cameras. I remember I became friends with this lady. I almost dated this lady because she had a small camera that I wanted to, like, I always want to borrow and all that. So I had my small phone that I would record. I remember I had an interview with Reverend Nyansako Ninko. He's so rest in peace. We recorded from a phone. Recorded from a phone. And guess what? I did not know anything about media. But I was so interested. I would just do whatever I can do to just get information that I can get and share. So I think resources, financially especially, was the biggest challenge I had.
Yeah, I think one of the things, especially in today's society, where we don't really get to see people's journeys, right? Because it's like I come in here, I see the cameras, I see the lights. I don't even know that you started with like just a cell phone
Yeah.
and nothing, or typing out stuff
Yeah.
on Facebook. So we don't really get to like experience that journey or see that behind the scenes if people don't talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is like really important for people to say, hey, it's a process, it's a journey. It's gonna
Yeah.
take you a while to get there, but
That's
you just have to
true.
be consistent, right?
Yeah.
And keep pushing and believing in yourself. Once you identify that thing, like you, it was media, it was information,
Mm-hmm.
and you kept pushing it, and you're here to then you have like so many views, you're reaching so many people, and that's how I actually met you. So big fan of Toridey here. So looking back at, you said resources were the main challenges back in the day. Is it the same challenges that you're currently facing?
I don't think so.
So what are your current challenges?
Our current challenge is actually getting a team. Yeah. For now, I don't want to look at it as resources anymore, because at the end of the day, I've learned also it takes somebody who is passionate. It takes somebody who understands the vision. It takes somebody who understands what you're trying to do to get in and work with you. Even if you're paying them $1 million a month, if they are not passionate, if they are not, they don't understand the vision, they're not going to produce results. So I don't think for now it's actually financial. The challenge I have now is having a team, people I can work with, people who have that same passion as me, people who just want to do something to develop, to grow the community. That is my challenge for now. You see somebody, you work with them today, after 2-3 weeks, they don't have to, and I don't blame them. It's America, it's busy, people have to pay bills, people have other things they're supposed to, I don't know, take care of. Maybe it's a lady tomorrow, they get married, or they get into a relationship, their boyfriend don't trust you, or I don't know. So, but I think if it's somebody who is passionate, who understands the vision, who has a heart for the community, they'll do everything to make sure they push their vision, they push the dream, like they walk with you to where you're going.
So have you tried to maybe look into the community to find
Of
people?
course.
Like how are you recruiting? Are you putting it out there to say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm looking for, this is where I'm trying to go, do you want to work with me?
I've talked to so many people, who are even, sometimes I even feel like they're more passionate than me. Sometimes I feel like people who are even interested in media, people who even want to do talk shows and all that stuff. Videography or talk show or whatever, it's expensive in America. So sometimes I even reach out to people who have platform, who are trying to build platforms, and like, you know what, I can do this and this and this for you, and in return, this is what you do for me. Some of them jump on board, and we do 1, 2, 3 videos, and then they just disappear. Probably because they feel like, oh, you know what, I need to go do my own thing and sell my content to I don't know who, and then when they go and it's not possible, they don't just want to come back because they feel like, okay, So I've done everything. Put out communiques, reach out to people individually. Um, I've done almost everything.
So we're gonna do like a little detour from the challenges here because I feel like
Hmm.
that's very heavy. Have you ever thought about, because I know you, like the quality of the pictures that you take, the content that you produce, you just have like this vision of how things should look. Like you do a lot of quality stuff. Have you ever thought of maybe having some sort of mentoring program? Because I'm somebody that I truly believe in like knowledge transfer, to like
Hmm.
mentor someone in the things that you do, just to like give back to the community and share your knowledge. Or even have like a class. Have you ever
Hmm.
thought about doing anything
Of
like that?
course. And it's the same thing. Um, One thing I've noticed, especially within our community, is that people understand what they want to do, but they don't pay attention to the sacrifice they have to make. So it's like, for instance, I like photography. I want to do pictures like you. You understand? But then I learned everything on my own, like video, pictures, and everything. I learned everything on my own. I stayed on YouTube. I tried and tried and tried. Buy cameras, buy my gears, buy every. Like I learned every. That shows how passionate and how devoted, you understand, I am to what I want to do. So when I start working with someone and I don't see 10% of passion, or I just feel discouraged. And most of the time it's not even about me. Most of the time it's about them. You give them assignments, you try to show them this. I remember one time, there's this lady I was mentoring. So we went, it was an event. We were doing pictures at an event, and I was trying to, like, hey, I like this picture, but if you had taken the picture, like, because there's more to photography than people think. It's not just about pointing a camera and shooting.
Right.
You understand? It's angles, it's lighting, it's this, it's that. So I was
It's
like,
capturing the story. So it's like I can look at the picture and know exactly what story you're trying to
that
tell.
is it. So I was like, okay, this is actually a good picture, but don't you think if you had taken it from this angle, it would tell a completely different story? She was like, if you correct me again, I'm leaving.
Mm.
I was like, are you serious? She said, yes. Okay, you can just leave if you want to. And she left. So this is somebody I invested time in. She was still learning, but I'll pay her when we go to do events and all that stuff, which is not something most people do.
All right.
So it's difficult. I've tried video, this, that. Like, it's just so difficult to get someone you can really work with.
So it seems like, trying to do everything on your own, like it seems like that's what you're doing right now.
Mhm.
It gets a little bit hard and exhausting. So what motivates you? Like what keeps you going?
Okay, I have a mentor who says, if you understand the vision and you're really passionate and you believe in what you want to do, nothing is going to stop you. Trust me, whatever challenges I had, whatever challenges I'm having, um, uh, I don't know, for me, somehow it's kind of like a motivation, because it pushes me to think out of the box. It pushes me to think out of. I think you must have seen my videos where I am the one doing the interview and I am the one answering the questions. I am like, so it pushed me to get creative. It pushes me to just do more, to look for ways to how I can do this, how I can do that. For people who know me, I can do a wedding by myself. I can do pictures and videos at a wedding by myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is something very, very difficult. That is because I have tried to have people I can work with, teach them how I like things to look. But most of the time they don't. I don't know. I don't know if they don't have that push, or they're not really interested or whatever. So, um, within the years, I've learned to depend on myself, because I don't want to fail. I don't want to. I used to wish I had the resources. Now I have the resources. Why should I don't know, fail when I can?
So when you're looking to work with somebody, because maybe I'm hearing this wrong, but it seems
Mhm.
like you haven't had that much success
Mhm.
with finding the right people to work with, and
Mhm.
maybe it just takes time, right? Because everyone has different working
Mhm.
styles. So what do you look for in a person to say, hey, I'm gonna start working with this person, or I'm gonna start mentoring somebody? Like, what are some of those things that draws you to that person, or what are you looking for?
Okay, I'm probably gonna talk about what I admire most about people. I like people who are sincere. I like people who are creative. I like people who have a heart for humanity. I like people who are smart, um, devoted. Yeah, I think that should be the main 4 or 5.
Okay.
I need to see somebody who okay, even besides Toridey, because that was the mistake I made like years ago. I'll just see anybody who's posting videos on social media. I'm like, oh, maybe this person is interested in doing videos, and I'll start rushing. No, you understand? I need to now these days. I don't just look at you doing videos. I look at what you do behind the videos. Beside these videos, what are you doing? Like, how does this person think? What are their views on this, on this, on this, on this? I need to understand. Okay, for you, it's not just about you. It's not just about putting your pretty face out there. It's about somebody who wants to do something for humanity. And trust me, it's difficult to get people like that these days.
Mhm. So what if you find someone that really wants to do something for humanity, but they don't care about videography and taking pictures?
Then we talk about what they want to do, and I see how I can help.
Okay, so it doesn't have to. What I'm hearing you say is it doesn't have to. You don't have to be interested in taking the pictures or telling the story or doing the videos. What you're really looking for is someone who is trying to add
Contribute,
value or,
add value.
or make a difference in the community, and you're
Yeah,
willing to work with those people
yeah,
in any capacity.
yeah.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, so let's take things down a little bit. So, what are your hobbies? What do you do outside of all of this?
Soccer, but these days I don't play soccer that much. Music,
Music.
yeah.
Oh, okay. You
Uh,
sing?
I don't. I think I sing when I'm alone.
I mean, don't we all?
Yeah, I sing when I really like music. I've always loved music.
Like, do you play, like, are we looking at some, single dropping soon? Like,
No, 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 no,
Toridey
no.
single?
I cannot even try. I think I just like music, listen to good music, rap music. Good music, let me not even say rap music. I just like music, listening to songs, singing, and that's it for me.
Okay, so music, songs. Okay, so stay tuned for the Toridey album dropping
No, no,
soon.
no, no.
So, like, Toridey has evolved,
Mm-hmm.
coming from like a kid in Cameroon who just wanted to make sure that people have access to information, to recording your video on your cell phone, to having all the equipment that you need.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you see Toridey going to in the future? Like, what's the vision? Like, how do you see it
Okay, you know
continue to
what's
grow?
funny is when I started all of this in Cameroon, I think somewhere inside me I wanted to do something better than CRTV. For some reason, I was
Your
not.
standard was CRTV, but like, I'm going to do better than them.
Yeah, like I was just like, okay, I don't think I like what CRTV is doing. I'll probably have to do something better, especially not even with the quality of work they're doing, but kind of like get the community to give the community a platform. Because back in the day, CRTV was for big people, the stars, maybe the petit pays, the ministers, and all the stuff. So I wanted the community to have a platform where any person, even that mommy that's selling cocoyams or whatever, can get there and share their story. Today, I don't even think. I look at CRTV, I look at their programs, and I'm like, okay, I can do better than that. I can do. They're missing this stuff. So I don't even think that they're my competition anymore. I have a bigger competition. I don't want to mention their name, but they are really big, and I am very, very sure Toridey will get there.
Okay, so again,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't know you had a whole beef at this point with CRTV. But again, like, where do you see Toridey evolving to? You started with a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, where you're doing interviews, you're doing
Mm-hmm.
videos, you're advertising
Mm-hmm.
businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next? It's like, are we looking at I don't know, more talk shows? Are
Yeah.
we
So
looking to
so
go
Toridey,
global? Like, what does
of
the
course,
future look
of
like?
course, global. That one is not even no, it's not negotiable. Toridey is a media platform, and if I show you the blueprint of what I had in mind about 8 or 10 years ago when I started doing whatever I was doing in Cameroon. It's a magazine, it's a radio, it's a TV. I wrote everything down. And I think we produced the first edition of the magazine already. I think this month we're planning to do the second edition. I want to focus right now on the TV part of everything, which is definitely going to happen this month. Like start broadcasting live and all that. Um, what other things? So yeah, the future of Toridey is really really huge. It's like I said, it's media. The goal was to do everything possible to get information from point A to point B or from point B to point A. So I'll do anything it takes to get this information through.
Okay. So you mentioned, media, magazines, videos, pictures. So how do you, like, how are you planning to like separate this content? Like, what should I expect to see in a magazine versus in a video, versus maybe on a, I don't know, like a podcast or a radio? Like, what type of content should users expect on these different platforms?
So if you noticed, like I said, the goal is to share information that can help our community grow. That is why we focus more on people who can be role models. We focus more on content that can add value to the community. I don't want to be specific. If you're a pastor and you're doing something great, I want to talk about you. I want to showcase you to the world. I want to emphasize you to the community. If you're I don't know, whoever, you understand? The goal is to get useful information within our community and share, or out of our community and share with our community.
Okay. That makes sense. So I know, especially in today's society, right? Like people, the way that people receive information is completely different. So, for example, I used to be someone who sat down and read books, and then my sister introduced me to Audible, and then now it's like you really gotta. It has to really be an interesting book for me to sit down and read it, right? So I may never pick up a Toridey magazine. So, how do you, like, what are some of the things that maybe you have in mind to do to ensure that if I don't pick up that magazine, I still
get the information,
right, without it being duplicated?
So take for instance the first edition of the magazine. It was titled Toridey Businesses, and the first edition had just one person. We've decided with the team the second edition is going to have at least 9 people with focus on one person. But then all these 9 people we're going to talk about in the magazine, we will do interviews of them also and post it on Toridey TV channel or YouTube or whatever social media. So those who want to read the magazine, cool. Those who are not interested in reading magazines, they can actually watch these videos on our platform. I think you talked about the audio podcast or whatever. I think that's another platform we plan to exploit.
Okay. All right. So, so what is one piece of advice that someone has ever given you that you've that has stuck with you up to this day?
My mom, growing up, she would always tell me, don't expect any person to do it for you. Do it. If you want something done, do it by yourself. I think that's the reason why I don't like depending on people. If you notice, even when people try to help me, sometimes I'm hesitant, except I really trust you, I understand you, understand where I am. That's when I can open my arms. Yeah, my mom growing up, she would always tell me, if you expect something done, do it yourself. Don't expect any help from any person.
All right. So being an entrepreneur, like trying to say, hey, I'm gonna go out on my own and I'm gonna build this thing on my own, like that's hard. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of motivation, discipline. Like you gotta be the you to you. What is one piece of advice that you give someone to be starting out on this journey?
Same journey or their journey?
Any entrepreneurial journey.
Believe in yourself. The most important thing I think is understand what you want to do. Yeah, understand what you want to do and understand why you want to do that. And I think that would be your biggest motivation. If you understand what you want to do, you understand why you want to do it, that brings you to it pushes so hard you will not even want to stop until you succeed. So that's it for me. Once you know what you want to do and you understand why you want to do it, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think people always say believing in yourself. It sounds very cliche,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually the biggest thing that you can do to yourself,
Of
or the
course.
biggest gifts that you can give to
Give yourself,
yourself.
yeah.
Because I know for me, like once I started believing in myself, or just even taking those baby steps, like doors started to open for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you get more creative the more
Mm-hmm.
you try things. It's like, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do videos
And
this
it's
way.
fun.
I'm gonna talk to myself. Like
Yeah.
you said, you do your videos where you talk to yourself, right? It's just like, hey, how am I gonna get creative today?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, like it's fun. So yeah, so thank you. Is there anything else that you would like the viewers or your audience to know that I haven't asked you yet?
Um, I don't think so. The only thing I want them to know is, hey, just I don't even want to say believe in Toridey. Just give us a little bit of your time, even if it's 1% out of 30 million percent that you have. A little bit of your time, just from time to time, stop by, watch our videos, just try to know what we are doing, and that's it.
And if people want to get in touch if people want to get in touch with Toride, how should they do that?
Toridey.org is our official email.
Okay.
Um, Toridey on Facebook, Toridey on Instagram, Toridey Media on YouTube. Um, yeah, just Google Toridey. Something about us will pop up, and then you can leave us an inbox or something.
Okay. Well, Toride, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation and getting to know you and talking to you, and I'm really excited about the future of Toride. So thank you.
I think I should thank you.
You should thank me. I mean, I'm not gonna refuse if you want to thank me. So thank you everyone for watching this video, and like Nasako said, please take a few minutes of your day to just watch and support the videos that we put out. Like this is how we're gonna continue to grow if we have the support of our community. And stay tuned for more videos, and you're gonna be seeing more of me on the show. And I'm Aliyah Kimbing, by the way.